episode 100 of Tech Sales Insights. I'm very excited and very honored to have Carl Eschenbach, who's a longtime friend, amazing executive, and super successful partner at Sequoia. Carl, welcome.
Thank you, Randy, for having me. It's an honor to be here. I know we've been trying to get this on the calendar for quite some time. And to be part of your podcast here in episode 100, I just want to thank you for having me.
That's all right. Pleasure's all ours for sure, and those watching along. So our title topic is secret sauce when it comes to leadership. We're sponsored by Gong, which we will touch on later on, but they're certainly poised to be one of the leaders in the sales tech stack. They're sponsor of sales community, revenue intelligence, and then now spanning across to kind of forecasting in some other areas. And I was joking the other day with Chris Riley. It's amazing all the stuff that we would do manually ourselves, and now everything that's just kind of so automated. Not that it's making life easy, but it's certainly easier, right, for CROs and sales leaders.
Well said, Randy. I hate to showcase our age here, but when we were younger in sales leadership positions, the tools that are available today, like Gong, we just didn't have. And sales today is as much data driven as it is science or art. So I think, these new sales tools like Gong are very valuable to, anyone who wants to, use them. It's a different world for sure from when we grew up, Randy.
Yeah, amazing. I would say everybody's spoiled these days, right? Certainly you've been amazing for, a lot of reasons, but the boards that you're on, I don't know how you do it. Zoom Video, Snowflake, UiPath, Workday, Palo Alto, Cohesity, Aurora, Gongs, Salt Security, Cresta, Grafana Labs, Armis, Thousand Eyes, and then most importantly, I'm sure, is your advisory board role with sales community, which certainly thank you for that.
Oh, thank you so much, Randy, for having me part of your sales community. And yeah, there are a lot of boards. It certainly keeps me busy on top of being responsible for investing here on behalf of Sequoia. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the diversity of the boards. I like having some public, some private. And I like the ability to be able to context switch from one type of company and technology to another on a pretty regular basis. There's days where I have sometimes 2 or even 3 board meetings in a day, and to have to be able to context switch from one to the other just keeps your mind very stimulated and keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're the most prepared out of everybody as well going into those. So for those that are members, sales community, thanks. For those that are not, you can go to salescommunity.com and you'll see a link in the upper left-hand corner that says fall free. So you get a free year membership, lots of great content for those that want to learn more and sell more, and certainly great networking opportunity. So as I said before, I think I've known Carl for probably over 20 years. We couldn't remember exactly when, but certainly have admired him from afar. And then is always, as I said before, just crazy responsive, and really can't say enough great things about him as a human, as a parent, certainly as a leader, and then now amazing VC and an investor. I guess Sequoia is probably getting big enough. Do you designate it as a VC or VC/private equity?
No, I don't think so. We are definitely a venture firm. Our objective here at Sequoia is to invest in companies from the seed round to IPO and beyond. We have funds that span, the early stage, the growth stage, and into the public markets. But we would definitely not classify ourselves as a private equity firm. We don't do buyouts, and our sole purpose in life is to find the outliers who want to build enduring companies and invest in them from the early stage all the way through IPO and beyond. And that's our focus. Sequoia's been around now over 50 years and has a pretty good standing in the community with both our portfolio companies founders, but also amongst our peer group. But we're only as good as our last partnership or investment, Randy. Just like in sales, you're only as good as your last 90 days. So we work hard to make sure we're out there finding the smartest, brightest entrepreneurs in the world, investing in them, and then helping them build their companies to endure over time.
That's awesome. And if it's okay to say, I think a couple of months ago when we were exchanging notes, and I said it was like a weekend. I think at night, I'm like, still, if 90%, if whatever, half of the sales reps out there, or sales managers could be as responsive as you, they'd be probably certainly selling a lot more. But you said closers and winners never sleep. So I thought that was good. So certainly,
I haven't lost that edge. I keep that edge.
Awesome. So certainly appreciative for all your help and attention you've provided me over the years, and probably really no reward for you. And then coincidentally, I think you're originally the one that introduced me to Amit at Gong, and that's how that all got going. So really interesting for sure. So
thank you for your help at Gong, Randy. They greatly appreciate your support. You can see they're sponsoring your podcast here today. But your insight, your experience, and your track record of success has been impactful for them. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you. And so for your interest, I know certainly family and work are a priority, but you've always been a workout fiend and love sports and golf as well. And then to help with my extended intro here, I've asked a few friends to share some thoughts. Amit at CEO of Gong does a great job, I think, summarizing you kind of overall. Carl is a legendary leader and investor. As a leader, he scaled VMware from 30 million or so to 7 billion, unparalleled growth trajectory. He's now partner at Sequoia, world's most prestigious venture capital firm, board member and investor for some of the world's best enterprise companies. Billy Scannell, president at Dell, says Carl's a great guy. Of course, Billy has to say he worked for me at EMC for a couple months. I think it was probably, a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, I think it was less than a month. But
so of course,
it was a great life lesson to never burn bridges on your way out, even if it was for a short period of time. And Billy often laughs and says, I remember you said to me you were going to this company, VMware, and Billy would always say, what the hell is VMware? You're crazy.
Yeah. And then he says, boy, was I wrong. And then Bill continues, he became a partner in crime while I was at EMC. He was at VMware, incredible person, great family. Had the chance to meet his wife, son, and twin girls in Austin 2 weeks ago for the Grand Prix. Polished executive, MBA at execution, and a PhD as a dad and husband. I like that. He's the light that all moths flock to. If you don't like and respect a guy like Carl, you should look in the mirror. Class A person all the way. Kevin Delane, CRO at Cohesity. We both kind of just overlapped a bit in Costa Rica during their President's Club trip. So Kevin says Carl's attitude, energy, and integrity are extremely high. He brings people up anytime they speak to him. His knowledge of the technology market, sales execution, and leadership are the best I've witnessed in my career. Every sales and business leader in the world can learn from him. And we're almost done here. BJ Jenkins, who was a longtime Barracuda, now at Palo Alto, says Carl's a legendary sales leader who drove the creation of the virtualized compute category, admired and respected by all in the profession, and now leading venture capital investor, board member, and coach for game-changing companies. He pushes himself every day to get better. His early morning gym sessions would put professional athletes to shame, and is a dear friend. So anyway,
wow. So that's very kind.
If you're ever feeling down, you can just replay this.
Yeah, Randy, that's very kind, and thank you to all of them. I didn't expect that. That's very kind and humbling for sure. I'm not sure if we should go on. We should just stop there and end your podcast.
There you go. We're good. Yeah, totally. And we want to encourage any questions or comments as well as we go. So I'm sure you'll get some people chiming in. So Ken Growe says VMware and EMC roots run deep. Dennis Kukulin says love seeing two tech legends. So I'll jump on your coattails on together, and guys I worked with and learned so much from. So thanks, Ken and Dennis. So to jump into questions here, maybe give us briefly a bit about your professional background and maybe start with your first job.
Yeah. Wow. My first job takes me back to 1987, Randy. When I came out of school, I joined a PBX company. Probably some people on the call don't even know what the hell a PBX is, but a PBX was a phone system that I was a pre-sales and field engineer implementing and installing PBX systems around the country for a company called Intercom, and installed phone systems in New York City, at Exxon Building, McGraw-Hill Building, at universities like Lehigh University, at large enterprises like USAA, the insurance company. So I did that for many years. And then I left and went into a company called NET, which was a wide area networking company that did, again, probably, terminology a lot of people might not remember, but, TDM technology, frame relay, sonnet switching, wide area networking, and spent years there. I think I was there for probably 6 years, Randy. And in my last year there, I did an interesting role. I was in the pre-sales. I was an SE for 5 or 6 years, and then my last year there, they wanted to try this new role, and the role was called a sales engineer, where they wanted to take a person and make them both a SE and a sales rep. So you were, in this case, being a male, I was a one-man band, and I was responsible for a number and all the technical attributes of selling the product. And I did that for a year, and it was a super, role. It was fun. And what I learned is I wanted to go all the way into sales. So then I moved into sales. And then shortly thereafter, I went from wide area networking, Randy, in the mid-90s to local area networking and joined the forces at 3Com. And while at 3Com, I was in sales for a year or two. And then I was fortunate enough to get promoted into my first sales leadership job at quite a young age. A gentleman named Larry Costanza, who's my boss from back in Jersey, promoted me, and I thank him for that to this day. And I spent many years there, and then a quick 6-month stint, late 90s at Lucent Technology. And then from there, I moved into my first pure play software company. It was called Ink2Me. Ink2Me was a content, caching, network, content distribution business and a search engine business, and was there for, 3 or 4 years. The company went public during the .com days, Randy. It was, I still think to this day, it was probably one of the fastest 5 rising stocks during the .com days. And it was also one of the fastest, 5 to come down the other side too. But it was a hell of a journey and a lot of fun. And it was at that point, I was still living, I'm from Pennsylvania back east, Randy. I was still living back east. My wife had just had twins, and I was commuting to California for Ink2Me. And we finally said, that's just not going to work. We got to make a change. And I was fortunate enough to run into a lot of your friends and peers at EMC, because I was in New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, and I joined the likes of Kevin and Billy and team at EMC, running the global accounts in New York City, and it took me off the road from having to travel to California every week. So I was happy. My wife was happy. I'm not sure if my twin girls were happy. They were, less than a year old, but it made the family happy. And this is where it got a little bit funny. Looking back, I say funny, but at the time, Randy, it was stressful. I think I was at EMC for 3 weeks, and I got introduced to this lady, Diane Green.
Yeah.
She said, listen, we're building out a field organization. We have this product. We think we can take it to market. And I met her through another colleague that had just joined the company as the head of sales, and he was going to bring me in to run the Americas. And I remember meeting Diane and saying to myself, if they can do what she says they're going to do, which I honestly question, this was like mainframe virtualization technology taken to open systems into the data center. If they can do that, I'm like, wow, they could change the landscape of computing in the data center forever. And I thought about it for a little bit. And then my biggest decision was how to tell my wife I'm going to work for a California-based company again after 3 weeks. And then the second big thing was having to tell the great people at EMC at the time that I was going to leave. To net it out, I was fortunate enough to make, I believe, what was the right decision, join in 2002 in the early days of VMware. I think they had a couple hundred people. couple people in go-to-market, and off we went. And it was an amazing 14 and a half year journey at VMware. I did just about every role except for the CEO role, including I was a CFO for a few quarters while we were absent a CFO. I had to do that as a public company. So it was a great experience. But then it was time to be back home, Randy, and be with the family again, as the children were now 3 kids all going into high school. So I got fortunate opportunity to join Sequoia. And I've been here 6.5 years, and it's been a great experience. I've learned how to be an investor. I think I'm a better executive. I'm much more detailed on how to operate and run a company here. And being at a venture firm like Sequoia, and I'm biased, I think there's only one venture firm out there, and that is Sequoia. And it's
of course. Is there anybody else?
I don't know. There's plenty of them, but I feel blessed.
Peter Bell would say Amity Ventures.
Peter does really well, but
Peter in the loop.
It keeps you young being at a venture firm because you're looking at leading technology all the time. And that takes me to where I'm at here today, 6.5 years later. It's been a great journey.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, generally speaking, I'll say, you and Peter are kind of the minority when it comes to operators at VC firms. So I don't know what the number is, but my guess would be most people or most partners have not really had operating jobs previously. Is that the case or no?
Yeah, I think certainly there are some people even here at Sequoia who had operating roles in the past, but typically they come through the product side or the finance side, but most people at venture firms, grow up as investors, work in investment banking, work at private equity. I say I'm, not that I'm the outcast. I don't like being the outcast, but I don't think typically you see someone who comes up through sales and marketing and operations necessarily join the ranks of the venture community. And again, I'm thankful for Sequoia for taking a chance to bring me in with no background, probably that fit their model, but it's worked for all of us. It's been a great opportunity for both parties.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you get your fingernails dirty and add value, as opposed to, not that others pontificate, but certainly in your operating shoes and what you did and how you did, I'm sure brings huge value.